Okay, yeah, we're on.
Okay, so welcome to
Episode 2 of Optional Sidequest.
podcast 2. I don't know, I was trying to think of like a weird, like, rhyming, but 2 and 2 just...
We nearly went on a tangent of your first time doing something last time, at the start of the podcast. Do you want to talk about the second time as well, or...?
No. I'm good.
So, last week we started off the podcast with just, what have you been playing? I've still been playing the exact same game. I'm going to be plugging away at Ni no Kuni 2 for at least another couple of weeks until Spider-Man's out. But what have you been playing? Have you been playing anything new, or...?
Bit more, well, I'm playing the same games, but other games, so I started playing Saints Row 2 again.
What?
Yeah, I bought Saints Row 2 like a couple of weeks ago, because it was like $169 for like the entire like.
So but Saints Row 2, that's just the San Andreas rip-off, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's still.
But Saints Row 3 is where Saints Row actually isn't a GTA clone.
No, the thing about 2 is it's grounded, but it's
San
also
Andreas.
silly. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can have silly stuff in San Andreas, but I think it's more self-aware in Saints Row 2.
I hated Saints Row 2.
Just
It was
enough.
such a rip-off.
I mean, I am thinking of just skipping Saints Row 3 and just going into Saints Row 4 where you just play as like superhero.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, nah, that's
So
that's
when
my
you
stuff.
start playing these old games like Saints Row 2, are you going to play it to completion, or are you just sort of having a bit of fun with it because you got a good price on it and you're just going to sort of play it for a bit?
I want to say completion, but then like, because I used to like pretty much all the games I used to play on my PS2, I always completed. And then as soon as I started getting my 360 and my PS3, I used to like just play a game, just stop playing it for what. I don't even know why. You know, like when you're playing a game, you're enjoying it, but you just stop. Like, there's so many games that
I don't, that doesn't really happen to me. Like, even if I get to that point where I want to stop, my OCD kicks in and I have to finish the game.
Yeah, because
unless I don't like the game, I'm at a point now where it's just like, do you know what? I don't even like this game. Why am I playing it?
Because I started playing American McGee's Alice again, and
that is an amazing game.
No, the one before, like.
Oh, okay, the first one,
the one from like 2000.
Yeah.
And I started playing that again because you can tell, like, I got the last trophy I got was like from 2016, and because
still, that's fairly recent.
Yeah, but I forgot pretty much everything, so I have to start again.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm not like those people who seem to be able to like not play a game for like, 7 months and go back and open up their save file and carry on. I can't do that. I have to go back and start again. I mean, it's kind of like muscle memory in the sense that I know what I need to do. But
I know what you mean. So I do the same thing, but I can normally pick up the game back up. But unless it, like, for example, I tried to get back into Witcher 3. I was in a bit of a gaming lull, so I thought I'd try to play Witcher 3 because there's loads to do in that game. I've got a bit of time to kill. I'm going to play that. And then I just took one look at all the menus and all of the sub-menus. And I was just like, no, I deleted it from my hard drive. I can't go back to that game ever again, I don't think. Sadly, but Witcher 3 is an amazing game.
I mean, I'm also still playing Singularity, Vanquish.
You're still working your way through those.
Yeah.
Devil May Cry 4 as well, you said.
Yeah, I managed to complete that I completed it on normal mode with doing the Dante Virgil storyline. No.
Did you play it on Xbox or PlayStation?
PS4.
Yeah.
I did the Dante Nero storyline, and then I played as Virgil, and I also played it on Heaven and Hell mode. The one where everybody dies in one hit.
Including you?
Yeah.
How is that good? Like, what's that like?
Well, put it this way. I started it yesterday and finished it this morning.
Oh, okay, wow.
I started,
so it's not that hard then?
No, I started it yesterday. Stopped at about 5:30. Like, I started at about, I want to say 4:30.
Yeah.
Finished it about 5:30, got to about mission 10, and I finished it this morning. The only things, ironically, the only times I died was when I had to, like, I don't know if you remember, there's this bit where you have to jump over these, like, lasers.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I literally, that was the only time I died. I didn't, and the only other time I was dying was when the saviour's, like, punching the the platforms you're on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I was like, every time I tried to like dodge it, it was like, no, you've been hit by some like his pinky or something. So I was like, oh.
Devil May Cry 4 was my first Devil May Cry game, and I just loved it so much. It was I love the art style. I love Nero. I didn't really have an affinity for Dante because I'd never played the other ones.
I played all of them in I bought 1, loved it. I played 2. I didn't mind 2. I mean, 2 seems to be considered the black sheep of the family, or at least the grey sheep now that the reboot won out.
Yeah.
3 is awesome, and 4's like pretty good. And
4's fantastic.
And I will defend the reboot in saying like the gameplay's.
I like the reboot.
The reboot's like
the gameplay is very good. I didn't.
The gameplay is great, and the story itself is actually pretty interesting. It's just that the characters are not.
It's a good game.
Good whatsoever.
I found the environments and the enemies were a bit too generic. It was just this enter this hell-like world, fight these demons, and go on. It's just the surroundings didn't really have any creativity to it. It was just a place that was on fire that you're fighting in.
Yeah, true. Because
whereas 4, you're in castles, you're in jungles, you're in all these different locations.
Yeah, because to be fair, I can only just about remember some of the only enemies I remember from the reboot is the one who. There's the one that looks like Krang a little bit, where he's got like the skull thing in his stomach.
Oh yeah,
and like he's got the circular chainsaws, and the boss with like a vagina in his head, like the first boss. I literally just remember the bosses on that one Krang looking one. But
I remember nothing of that game.
I can't remember any of the other ones.
No, I remember I enjoyed playing it, but I remember nothing about it.
Yeah.
What do you think of the gameplay for Devil May Cry 5 that's
that looks
been
really good.
revealed?
I don't like Nero's haircut.
It doesn't look like Nero. I when I first saw it, I thought it was a young Dante.
I could live with like the aesthetic changes that they have made to him, but myself personally, I don't like his haircut.
You like the 90s boy band hair?
Yeah. I mean, the weird thing is, I think if they had the short hair when he was in 4, it might have, like, obviously, because I think it's probably because like since 4 came out like 10 years ago.
It doesn't look anything like. The face is different, the hair is different.
If 5 had come out like 2-3 years after 4, then I probably would have been more open to it. But because it's been 10 years, like you've got 90s boy band and Nero sort of like permeated into your head.
I'm just glad they're going back to having Nero there, because I thought with 4, and then they obviously took a time out. They didn't do they did DMC after 4. I thought that was a whole basically restart the series because people didn't really respond to Nero. so they'll do this new one with Dante and then do that. But then obviously that didn't really take off.
Yeah.
And they haven't just done Devil May Cry 5 with Dante. They've done Devil May Cry with Nero again. And for me, I love Nero, so I can't wait for this game.
The problem is like Dante's pretty much had like his entire character arc done anyway, because like.
Well, yeah, I mean,
like between 3 and 1,
3.5 games.
Yeah, like between like you kind of get his.
I mean, he's going to be in this game anyway. It's not like it's just going to be Nero.
Yeah, so it's like you pretty much got his character out from 3. Like it's basically like talks about like kind of his upbringing and stuff. Well, not necessarily his upbringing, but sort of like his backstory and stuff.
Yeah.
And 1 kind of carries on from that, and the natural progression is, you've become the ultimate badass. You've got the Spider Sword. You can do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And 2 is kind of like a fairly stock standard story where at the end he goes to hell and it's like he basically just massacres all the demons there. You see, and people seem confused as to people are trying to theorise where 5 fits in the timeline, because in the original series it goes 3, 1, 4, 2, I think.
Yeah.
And there's people are wondering if 5 comes after 4 or if it comes after 2. I think it comes after 2.
I think it should come after 2. I think
because
then you're not beholden to setting things up for another game.
Yeah, because the thing is, and also because in the trailer, Dante comes back and you see him on a bike.
Yeah.
And the last time you see him in 2 is he's on a bike. he's basically on a bike, like just driving, like riding off into hell, like where you assume he's just going to commit demon genocide.
Yeah.
And you're wondering, like, I feel that 5 is like him coming back out, because there was the bit in there's a cutscene in 2 where Lucia is like at the Devil May Cry shop and you hear a like motorbike and you're meant to assume it's supposed to be Dante.
Yeah.
I wonder if she's going to be in the new game.
I'm not too sure. We got Nero and Dante, but this thing
and the mystery, and it's also it's like suspected that the mystery guy who chopped off Nero's arm is like Virgil, because you
got to keep it in the family.
It's like, that's my bitch. I don't care if
But just I want to do a proper podcast on this because I think it would warrant a whole podcast.
Devil May Cry lore.
No, just because Devil May Cry 5 it comes out in March.
Yeah.
Take out the rest of this year. From in January, there's Resident Evil 2 remake, which looks fucking amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
In February, there's Days Gone, new PS4 AAA exclusive.
Oh, is that the
zombie
one?
No, that's Death Stranding. Days Gone is a open world, zombie apocalypse, Walking Dead sort of game. generic premise, but looks great. Definitely check it out. Anthem, the new BioWare game.
Yeah.
Trying to rebound from Mass Effect's Andromeda, which I actually liked. Metro Exodus, another big first-person shooter. Crackdown 3, finally coming out for Xbox players.
Oh.
And then in March, Devil May Cry and this Sekiro, new game from Software.
When's
That's 6-7 AAA games in the first 3 months of next year.
Yeah. Wait, when's Rage 2 come out? Because I was...
I don't fucking know. That's another...
Because that actually looks interesting.
I didn't like the first Rage, so I've not really got Rage 2 on my radar, to be honest.
Well, that's the thing. Apparently, like, Rage 2 is set like 30 years after Rage 1, so like, can basically just sort of like... Yeah.
But then why call it Rage 2? But then I suppose they call it Rage 2 so that when people Google it... I don't know. I've read that the numbered sequels are something for search engine optimization, so if they put the 2 on there... I guess for example, the new Doom game is going to be called Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to call it Doom 2, because there was already a Doom 2.
Yeah, but that hasn't stopped, like, stupid amounts of other companies, like... I mean, look, God of War is, like, you know...
Yeah, exactly, but...
God of War is technically God of War 4, but let's just call it God of War.
This is the thing, is the next God of War game going to be called God of War 2? Or I think it would just be called God of War, :
Insert subtitle.
Insert badass name.
God of War, boy hits puberty. You're not listening to me, Dad. I want to go out and kill the demons my way. I don't want to use an axe. I want to use my bow and arrow.
Next week, I'm letting you God of War, I think. I think you need to play it because I can't... God of War's going to come up a lot. So you need to play it, but...
Well, I want to play... It's really bad. I want to play the... I keep debating whether to buy the spin-offs, like the PSP.
No. Don't stop buying the old shit and get the new shit.
Okay.
But, okay, so last week we obviously talked a lot about reboots and remasters that you'd like to see, that we both like to see.
We mentioned it earlier. I was like, I mentioned one that came to me after we finished the first one was 13, the Ubisoft game, which was based. I think it was based on some like French comic or something.
It's not surprising.
Ubisoft, the French Canadian company,
Ubiquitous Software,
is basing a game on a French comic. But yeah, it's like it was based like on some like. Because it's some alternate like 60s thing where like the president is killed and your character is implicated in it, but your character has amnesia, so he doesn't know if he did do it or if he didn't do it, and he has to find out. You know.
What year did it come out?
I think it was like 2003.
Okay, so
yeah, and
PC,
PS2,
PS2 era.
Because I got it on PS2. I don't know. I assume it came out on like GameCube and Xbox as well. I mean,
nothing came out on GameCube, man.
Well, the irony is the GameCube. What's really funny is the GameCube.
Was it Mario or Zelda? Then it might have came out on GameCube.
Metroid.
Nintendo hate.
But yeah, I think that would be like.
I love Nintendo.
I think that would be a pretty good one to sort of remaster as well, because because it's cell shaded, it probably wouldn't take that much to.
It wouldn't, no, but it's the audience there, because I've never heard of that game.
Yeah, I mean, that's.
You'd be the person to play it.
Well, that's my problem with just life in general. I always like the obscure, random stuff.
You like to be the guy who's played the thing or watched the thing that no one else has seen, so you can tell them to watch it.
Well, I don't. It's not even like I consciously do that. I just gravitate towards those sorts of stuff.
Gravitate towards the more hidden gems.
Yeah, because
I mean, I love that as well. I love discovering a game that no one else has played, but generally, I don't want to take that risk monetary wise.
Well, I mean, I guess that's the main reason why like some of these games aren't remastered or like remade or something, because like, well, is there really an audience for it?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's I forgot who it was, but somebody described something as, oh yeah, it's like critical acclaim or something can be applied to like games, movies or whatever, which essentially means reviewed well, it's sold like shit.
I know, but a lot of studios now, to be like, in fact, I mean, obviously if they're backed by Sony or Microsoft or something, like Sony, I think with Days Gone, that studio, they haven't made a game for a long time. Their last game was Uncharted Golden Abyss on Vita, which was a great game, but it was on Vita. So 3 people own a Vita and played it. So they haven't released a game in about 6 years. So this Days Gone that comes out in February, which is in a crowded window, needs to sell, otherwise Sony might just shut the studio down. But
EA have a habit of doing that.
Well,
we'll buy this.
We don't want to talk about EA. I'll get into EA and their Star Wars shenanigans another time. But this Days Gone game, if it sounds wow, okay, great. But if it doesn't, it's critically acclaimed as one of the best games of the year, or best games ever made, or best PS4 games, then Sony isn't going to close that studio down, because they know that this studio can make top quality games.
I guess that's the thing though, because we were talking about Beyond Good and Evil like earlier, and that game didn't sell very well, but people
love it. There's a following, and they've released. They're going to release number 2 in 2020.
Same with Shenmue 3.
But that was fan back. That was on Kickstarter, wasn't it? So that. The people who wanted to get that game have already paid for it.
But I guess that's sort of like the inherent thing, isn't it? It's like either a cult thing either has to be kickstarted by the fans, or like they have to have an extremely convincing like argument for a studio to give them money. But anyways, let's start. We've been rambling for a bit.
Let me talk about some games that I'm gonna want.
You want to see like remastered or?
I've sort of gone to look at my sort of PS1 collection and just had a look at what games I liked growing up, what sort of the game that I think there's a sort of a market for still. And then I've also had a look at a couple of games that came out on the PS3 for sort of long dormant series now that I want to come back. I won't go. I might go through all of them. We'll see. We'll see how this conversation goes.
I guess the long dormant series. I guess we can talk about sort of like remastering like the old games and then
you either just re-release the first game just as a new game or something. But the first game I want to talk about is Tekken 3.
To be fair, I think that's the. I mean, I have played Tekken games, but I think
Tekken 3, let me tell you.
Is that the one with
PlayStation 1?
Martial law in it?
Might be Forest Law. But Tekken 3, so basically, when I was younger, PlayStation 1 era, fighting games were the rage. There was Mortal Kombat, there was Street Fighter 2, and there was Tekken 3.
Yeah, you always used to, I do remember like, I used to go around the houses of like my mates who had PS1.
Exactly.
I used to just play. Get my ass kicked on Mortal Kombat and Tekken.
Yeah, I would go around.
Because nobody would tell me the combos, so I was just basically like mashing buttons.
See, this is the thing with Street Fighter. I'd go to my friend's house and play a bit of Street Fighter, and I'd never been into Street Fighter. I like the look of Ryu, who's pretty cool, and Chun-Li.
It's all about Blanca.
Yeah, and I enjoyed playing it, but there was just something about the fighters in Tekken 3 that I gravitated to. I loved Law, but I think Law was the one because I just grew up loving Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was like everything. His movies, his moves, his sounds, just everything about Bruce Lee. I was just it was it was just everything growing up, like the nunchucks. And so because Tekken's got Law, who is basically Bruce Lee, I think that was why when I was younger Tekken was the game. And Tekken 3 is the one. It's one of the highest selling PlayStation 1 games. I don't know if you ever noticed.
No.
It sold nearly 10 million copies.
Nice.
for a
and
fighting game.
Yeah, and back then as well, like, because back then, like, gaming was still kind of like a niche.
Well, the only PS1 games that might have sold a little bit more, I obviously have to fact check, but you've Gran Turismo, Metal Gear Solid, and I think maybe like the first Tomb Raider, and then Tekken 3. Those were the games on PS1 that sold the most copies.
Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, maybe? Or?
Yeah, I mean, they're in the top 10 for sure, but Tekken 3 is in the top 10, which is just an amazing game. And yeah, we got Tekken 7, I think last year just came out. I would love just a Tekken 3, just a HD, just let me play Tekken 3 on my PS4, let me beat everyone up.
But is there really much point, in a way? Because, I mean, the problem with fighting games is that you can pretty much, like, the next one is, like... the problem with fighting games is that there isn't really much, like, it's really hard to innovate, as it were. Like,
it is.
Besides,
but there's a feel, an arcadiness to Tekken 3 that Tekken 7 doesn't really have.
I mean, yeah.
In the new ones, it's a lot more. Obviously, the mechanics are still there, but it's a lot more blocking. It's a lot more cerebral.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess for me, it's like the only problem with fighting games is that minus like adding characters or adding like the odd extra move or something and better graphics, it's like once.
I mean, it's the rosters, the movesets, and the costumes of the characters.
I mean, there's a reason Capcom released Street Fighter 2 like 50 gazillion times.
Exactly, this is the thing. If Street Fighter 2 can get 20 re-releases, give me Tekken 3. Just let me play Tekken 3 on my Nintendo Switch. Well, I would love that. Just let me play it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I mean, I just said that Capcom released Street Fighter 2 like a gazillion times, which makes sense. So I guess
exactly. Street Fighter 5 came out what 2 years ago last year.
And I mean, I guess the only thing, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be that hard to, I mean, not tie up, but sort of like spruce up the graphics a bit. And I mean, they probably...
It's the reason I say Tekken 3 is because...
blocky.
Yeah, but the reason I picked that one out in relation to all the Tekken games, because I love 4 and 5, especially as well. There was one on the PS2, and Tekken Tag Tournament. But Tekken 3 was the one that got me into the series, and it's also the one that got a lot of other people into the series. And fighting games aren't really as big of a game as it used to be. Like back in the day, you'd go around to your friend's house and you'd beat each other up on a fighting game. You don't really do that anymore. It's online, it's Call of Duty, it's this. But fighting games...
Well, I mean, WWE keep releasing 2K games every year.
Yeah, exactly. Sports games as well. So it was a different time. You'd have to go to your friend's house to play a game, and there was no better game to play with friends than Tekken or Street Fighter.
I mean, I do miss split screen, to be fair. And the hilarious thing is, people's screens are so big now that you don't have to squint.
Oh no, yeah.
so it's like, well...
I went to Curry's yesterday, I had a look at a 75-inch TV, and I was like, yes!
I mean, everybody takes a piss out of me for having a 26-inch like TV. It's like, dude, why have you got such a tiny screen? I was like, well, this is like, before this, the last TV I had was like 12 inches. I don't think
I couldn't look at a 26-inch screen yet. I've got a 55-inch 4K TV, in case you don't know, and I need that.
Well, to be fair,
I need those extra 20 inches though.
I mean, I do also use it as a computer monitor, so that's probably it as well.
Yeah, if you've got the versatility, and if you play, obviously you might sit a bit closer. You've got a smaller bedroom. You want to sit closer. Well, obviously, if you got a living room, you'd have a bigger TV.
Yeah. I mean, I guess fighting games are kind of like in that sort of like weird spot where
they're not big anymore.
No.
Soul Calibur 6, I think's coming out soon. It's just been announced.
I mean,
which is popular, but again, it's not the same.
The Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite came out like last.
And then that was hated.
Yeah, because they took out all the characters that Disney didn't own. So basically, no X-Men characters. And I think Fantastic Four characters.
I think they hid a lot. Disney don't own X-Men and Fantastic Four.
Yeah, so that's why they took them out.
Oh, right, sorry.
And that's why they took them out. And
I think they hid a lot of it behind DLC and paywalls.
And a lot of the outfits are sort of like from the movies.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but there's something about Thor and his little helmet. Flailing his like the old era.
You've got to let for comic book properties. You just need to throw everything in there. Like when the new Spider-Man game comes out, I'm expecting every single Spider-Man costume to be in that game, whether now or you buy it or whatever. But
Right.
if you want the Spider-Man costume from comic book issue 217, it'll be in that game.
I think what pisses me off the most is how they sell outfits as DLC. I mean, I get it up to a point, but at the same time, I mean, this just goes to show our age. I remember the days when you
play the game and unlock it.
Yeah, you used to unlock. Yeah, sometimes you have to like do something like complete it on like hard mode in like 3 hours using only 2 moves or something.
Yeah,
but I think.
I mean, for me though, I don't really care. I'll just play the game in the original costume.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of annoying because like I really wanted the Arkham games. I really wanted to have the sort of
Adam West.
No, not the Adam West one. I wanted the Batman of the Future outfit.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I wanted to play as Nightwing and stuff, but that was all like DLC and stuff. And when I realised that the Nightwing stuff was basically just glorified sort
Batman.
of. No,
Robin.
well,
it was just Robin with a new coat of paint, basically.
No, it wasn't even that. It was just like basically just like different challenges. So it's like you didn't have like a little separate story. It's what annoys me about it's what kind of annoyed me about Devil May Cry 3 Special Edition and Devil May Cry 4, especially 4, because it's like, oh yeah, we've added Virgil into the game, but you're just going through the same levels again. It's just like, oh, I'd rather have 5-6 missions of original content than 20 missions of the same stuff that I've done
this
before.
is the thing now. Obviously, we could get into a whole thing about this, but the games now, they cost more money to make. Prices of games haven't gone up in 10 years?
No, they have.
I mean, I was paying £40 a game from the PS2, and on the PS3 £40 a game, and now on PS.
I thought it was more like 30.
I don't know, man. I feel like they've been £40 for a long time now.
Because I feel like
and with game development costs increasing, they need to create a way to keep you playing a game, not just playing a game longer, but putting more than that initial money in. So if you buy a game second hand, the developer gets none of that money. But if you buy a few costumes or a few extra levels, then they're still making money off that second hand game. So I think that's the reason why it becomes more and more prevalent, unless you do something like EA and you just hide everything behind a paywall on Battlefront 2, and then obviously they should take that back.
I think if they're gonna go that route, I think they should make it more cost appropriate. Like if have varying different like prices for. I think like, if you're gonna do a costume, make it like, and especially if like there's loads of costumes, do it where it's like £1.50, £2. Where
I agree. I think they're still.
It's still annoying.
They're still figuring out the cost points. They're trying to see how much they can charge people for certain things.
Because I played
versus how many people buy that thing.
I played Resident. I was playing Resident Evil 5 at the weekend. Yeah. That was another game I was playing. But I was playing Lost in Nightmares and Desperate Escape. Both fun little DLC like missions, but they literally were, I want to say, an hour and a half each max. And I think that was because I kept dying. Well, no, I don't think we were dying, but it was like we had to keep like going back and healing and stuff. And I was like, I would have been pissed if I forked out like £7-8 to play something for an hour and a half.
Yeah. Thing is, I don't bother with DLC anyway. For me, if it wasn't good enough to put in the game the first time you made it, then there's no point in me playing it. If this extra level was so good, they would have put it in the original game.
Well, that's the problem, because I think when DLC first became a thing, I think it was like they may not necessarily have been good enough, but they may not necessarily have had time to put it in.
Yeah.
So it was like budget constraints, and like they were.
But again, that goes back to this was the level or the piece of content that was deemed surplus to the game we wanted to release day one. So I mean, there are some amazing DLC packs, for sure. But for me, once I've played a game, I finished it, I've got platinum in it.
Yeah.
I'm done. And if a piece of DLC comes out 6 months later, like the Horizon DLC, for example, I loved Horizon last year. It was one of my favourite games of the year. It was my favourite game of the year. they released some DLC about 6 months later, and I couldn't put the game back in. I had other things to play.
Yeah.
I forgot the controls, and the DLC. You need to know what the end game controls are. You can't just work your way back into it. So yeah, I think there still needs to be a balance on that front.
Yeah. So wait, you were talking about.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So right, let's get back.
Yeah.
Right, let's get back to it. Right. So okay, another series I want to see come back is Max Payne.
You know, I never actually played Max Payne.
So let me talk to you about Max Payne.
I've played Max Payne inspired games where you're jumping around.
Let's talk about Max
people.
Payne. Well, Max Payne 3 came out on PS3, and it was a Rockstar game. It was before Rockstar were just doing Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead. They did Max Payne.
They did Manhunt.
Yeah, but that was PS2. Like PS4 era, they've only done Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead. PS3, they did L.A. Noire, they did Max Payne 3, they did a few other games. But Max Payne, it was the first game that really popularised the slow-mo bullet time.
Well, yeah, because I think I actually watched a video about like the history of Max Payne, and I can't remember what the original developers were called, but
I can't remember myself.
Rockstar had basically published the first two, and
Yeah.
then they took over development for 3.
And 3 was amazing. 3 was so good. And
Well, that's
when-
the thing. I mean, I keep hearing people. Well, some people either love 3 or hate 3, depending on because apparently because of the stylistic changes in terms of atmosphere.
It was, but
he's got a shaved head or something.
He does have a shaved head, but he doesn't have a shaved head all through the game. But he can't look like Mark Wahlberg all the time. But with the first time playing Max Payne, doing a slow-mo, two-handed dodge, shooting dodge, whatever you want to call it, John Woo, fucking Neo, Matrix.
Yeah, and I think
thing. It was such a good. It was so cool. It was so cool.
And I think
name me a game. Name me a third-person shooter now that is not some big muscly man in a fighting zombies or aliens that just has guns. Just got a good story. There's not a game like that on the market right now.
Right, can I name some also from the PS3? Or does it have to
Just
be like now?
contemporary games now that are third person. The character isn't fucking Marcus Phoenix from Gears of War. It's just and it's story driven, and it's just slow mo shooting. Where's that game?
Vanquish.
That was years ago. And that was in space. That was fighting robots and aliens.
Yeah.
Just
slow mo.
No, but a grounded, realistic game.
That was wet.
I mean, again, years ago.
I mean,
within the last 5 years.
Well, I can't say from the last 5 years, but
And Max Payne, there's an audience there. I'm telling you, there is.
Yeah, because I remember.
I don't know how well Max Payne 3 sold. Maybe if Max Payne 3 sold 50 million copies, we'd have a new Max Payne. But Max Payne 3 also came out mid PS3 era when all the games coming out, you had to be multiplayer, you had to be GTA, you had to be Uncharted. There wasn't room for this game.
Because and obviously Max Payne has an audience because again I haven't played Max Payne.
But 1 and 2 they came out on the Xbox 360 PC.
Yeah, I haven't actually played Max Payne, but I've played Max Payne.
You know Max Payne.
I know Max Payne, and I've played the Max Payne inspired games like Wet, which is basically, from what I can gather,
Is Max Payne inspired?
Female Max Payne.
Bring back Max Payne. Don't call it Max Payne 4. Just call it Max Payne.
Female Max Payne in Quentin Tarantino film. Basically. And apparently there was Stranglehold, which was basically Max Payne gameplay with John Woo characters.
Yeah. I mean,
Stranglehold
was a great game.
Yeah.
That was a great game. Yeah.
So there is market for these sort of slow mo gratuitous violence.
I was going to say you can bring Max Payne back, just reboot it, just have a new Max Payne game, or just re-release all 3. Just bring them on PS4. Max Payne trilogy.
I mean,
see if there's an audience there. If people play it and they like it, I'd love to play them all again. Max Payne 2 was a great story. Max Payne 2 was brilliant.
I mean, was the gameplay because I know the gameplay in 1 and 2 is similar to each other, but is the gameplay in 3 inherently different, like a lot, or is it just minor?
It's minor tweaks. It's obviously more modernised from like the generation before, but it's a third person shooter. with some slow-mo bullet time elements.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I mean, I guess
And a really good story.
Everybody goes on about like how bullet time sort of like played out and stuff.
It was played out, but then it was played out to the point where it will stop playing. Bring it back.
Yeah, everything that is old is new again.
Everything in slow-mo is cool. It's just a fact of life.
True. I mean, I have yet to see a scene in a movie that looks better at normal speed than it did like slow-mo.
It's about time it came back, or just, I don't know, I'll bring a Matrix game. I just want bullet time back. Just bring back slow-mo. Give me a new Matrix game.
Well, they can always remaster Path of Neo.
Path of Neo was a great game.
Enter the Matrix.
Another game I want to talk about. You probably wouldn't have played this game, but it's an interesting discussion to have. So the Casper game on PS1. Did you ever watch the Casper movie?
Wait, shit.
Bill Pullman, not Bill Paxton. Bill Pullman, Christina Ricci.
Oh yeah. This was like after
it was like the Men in Black era, 90s.
Was this one after she did? Was this after she did Addams Family?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh yeah, and there's that really random cameo by Dan Aykroyd in it, isn't it?
Yeah, we need to Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a proper 90s children's film. Okay, so tell you that if you like those sort of things, you like them. I love them. And then the Casper game. What I want to talk about the Casper game. I don't really want the Casper game to come back as such. I do, but no one else does. That's fine. But the Casper game represents a era where movie tie-in games or games based on movies were good.
Have they ever been? Well, I don't know. Like you can name some that are not terrible.
Some were cash-ins, definitely, but the ones that had they were really well thought out. So like Casper on PS1, Spider-Man 2 on the PS2, the best Spider-Man game until this new one comes out. But Spider-Man 2, it was just a great game. Huh?
I thought Web of Shadows was good.
Spider-Man 2. Web of Shadows, you're swinging from clouds. Spider-Man 2, you actually got to connect to fucking buildings.
No, if you play Web of Shadows again, you have to connect to the buildings. I mean, you are literally surrounded by buildings, so it makes it a lot easier.
Or maybe I'm thinking of Shattered Dimensions, but either way.
Yeah, I think
Spider-Man 2 is the best game.
Yeah.
But Casper, puzzles, it was well thought out, it had a good heart to it. It didn't just act the film out. Like at the moment, I'm playing the Lego Incredibles.
Yeah.
And I love the Lego games. They're great games. The Lego Incredibles, whilst a good game, the gameplay's there. The cutscenes are unskippable, which is fine.
Yeah.
But they are basically replaying the movie in Lego form with the voice acting. It's like, I've seen The Incredibles before. I don't need a cutscene.
Wait, I thought Lego games didn't have voice, like...
they do now. But they do in the
level...
But they just take the... Yeah, I agree. I preferred it without. But they've just literally took a soundbite from the movie, put it on a Lego cutscene, and you're watching a 5-minute cutscene of a scene from The Incredibles that you've watched about 20 times. It just needs a bit more thought. I mean, that example aside, the Lego games are fantastic, but where's my movie time? I want a movie time game.
Well, I want a good one. I think it's probably because they just aren't viable anymore.
They're not viable if they're bad.
Well, yeah. Well, the problem is like they're given such a tight deadline to make something that they basically have to take a stock genre, third person action or just generic action adventure, and just try and
I mean, I'm not saying
and you'll get those people who are you try and deviate a bit from the storyline of the film. It's like, oh, that's not.
The thing is, I'm not saying we need to have a game based on every movie. We need to have a movie based on every game. We need to have a book. But I'm not saying we need to just mix all these mediums all the time, because keep them as their own thing. The Last of Us is an amazing game. You don't need to make it into a movie. I just think.
I think we should talk about video time.
Yeah, I think we could really dig deep into
next
this
time, because I think that's actually in itself is a really good subject.
Yeah, I think we could talk about that for a while. Okay, well, let's.
So, you were talking. So wait, what was it about the Casper game that
The Casper game was the only game that I played. I played it with my cousin. We played it all the way through. We actually didn't complete it when we were younger. We actually had to wait until I rebought it. like 10 years later. And then it was the only game that I played by writing, like, because the whole game is a big maze.
Yeah.
And you unlock power-ups as you go. It's Metroidvania in that way. You might get a new ability and you can go back to an old area and then you can advance because you've got this new ability. It was the only game that I wrote pages of notes and drew the map and just... Like, obviously this was before walkthroughs, so I had to write my own. But it was just that really awesome puzzle game based on a property that I love. I love Casper. And like, yeah, okay, I'd love an original puzzle game, you know, whatever that's come out on PlayStation. But I also love one that's based on a movie I love and characters I know. So I think there's an argument for both sides that we can definitely tuck into.
Yeah.
Did you like any tie-in games?
I can't.
No.
No. Well, I mean, I liked the X-Men Origins Wolverine game. But
that was a great game.
That was a great.
That was
game.
better than the movie.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Can you really class that as a tie-in movie? Because
because it was the plot of the movie, like for like, just with gore.
No, I guess. Yeah, I mean, it kind of had like extra.
And
bits
your character looked like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, I guess there was like it was basically the gist of it was the plot line for the movie, and it had extra bits like where you randomly go to Arkalai Lake and you find the. I liked how they had to make Wendigo like a sort of like bioweapon type thing, because like in the original comic books he's basically just like a mythical creature. And obviously in the X-Men universe you can't have mythical stuff. We have to make it realistic, despite the fact they're mutants with claws in their hands and like those that control weather and stuff. But yeah, I mean, off the top of my head, the Wolverine one's the only.
The Wolverine was a good one. That was a good one.
The only other one I can think of. I mean, I don't know, because.
I mean,
there are tie-in movie games, and then there are tie-in movie games like Wolverine came out, like the Wolverine game came out at the same time as the movie, so that's that sort of thing. But then you get the tie-in movie games like Path of Neo, which came out like about 2-3 years after.
Yeah. But it was just it was a property. But I think we're going into quite an interesting time now. In that, I mean, not for everything, but in terms of the Marvel, the MCU, and all this, we're getting a Spider-Man game made by Insomniac. It's going to be amazing. We're going to get an Avengers game by Crystal Dynamics, which we haven't seen any of yet, but you'd hope that'd be quite good. We might get an Iron Man game from Sucker Punch or whoever, but I think not in terms of a movie spin-off, but a game based on a property. Like, where is the really good Captain America game? Where's the really good Thor game?
Yeah, I mean, because
we've got a good Batman game. We've got a good Spider. Well, we're going to get a good Spider-Man game.
You'd hope.
We will. There's no doubt in my mind, man.
Yeah, because I guess the idea is superhero characters are pretty much like.
They've designed your abilities already.
Yeah.
It's easy. And you've got a world. You've got enemies to fight.
I mean, you don't even need to have. It doesn't even need to be open world. Like, I think of Captain America as being a sort of like you could do like a really cool secret agent thing.
You could do a stealth game.
Yeah, I mean, because
you could do Metal Gear Solid with Captain America. Like
and like you botch it up, you just basically throw your shield at people and just knock them out.
Exactly. No guns. No guns. It's pure hand-to-hand fighting.
Yeah, you just punch them, or if you've got like and you just use your shield as a range weapon, and you just knock people the hell out.
There's an unexplored avenue there, which I think is going to be more explored the more games that come out, especially if Spider-Man does well, which it should do well. I want to talk about one more game that I want to see come out, and then I want to go into just the business of the
remasters.
Yeah, just what we sort of think is the sort of
reasoning.
The reasoning. So I'm going to talk about one more, and that's the game called Speed Freaks.
I do not know.
Me and my cousin Ange are probably the only two people that played Speed Freaks. And the reason I want to talk about Speed Freaks is because it's a kart racer, like
Crash Bandicoot,
like Crash Team Racing, like Mario Kart, just a little bit more grown up. and a little bit harder. The weapons do more graphic damage than.
You sound like you basically just described Jack X. I've been playing Jack X recently, and it's basically just Crash Team Racing, but with more violence.
So yeah, I don't know why Mario Kart has to be the kart racer that everyone plays. Well, I want Speed Freaks. Give me Speed Freaks back.
I think in regard, because I mean,
Speed Freaks is one for me, by the way. It's never going to get made. No one's even played it. I don't even know who made it.
I mean, in a way though, I think the problem is like Mario Kart. I think the first Mario Kart came out like '91 or something, and it's been going ever since. And the only other one that had any traction,
Crash Team Racing
was Crash Team
Racing,
Racing,
which hopefully will be re-released.
Speaking
of remastered kart racers, Crash Team Racing,
and
is what we want.
Because those are the only two that people know of. Like if it's not like a realistic racing game like.
Well, they tried to make Mod Nation Racers a thing. That was basically came out on PS3 as a PS3 exclusive. It was basically Little Big Planet, so like you make your own tracks.
Yeah.
Design your own tracks, but
I think
it's a kart racer.
I think that's
a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea, but at the same time, people are lazy.
No, like,
yeah, people don't want to make their own tracks.
This is the thing. I think all the people that play kart racers, they already play in Mario Kart. I don't think there's really an audience. Obviously, I own a Nintendo, so I would play Mario Kart on Nintendo. But I think for PlayStation, Xbox only gamers, they don't really want a kart racer. No. It's not really their thing. We tried to have there was a Super Smash Brothers rip-off on PlayStation. It's called PlayStation All Stars. And it's a really good game, but no one bought it.
Oh, was that the one which had Jack Ratchet and Sly Cooper in it?
Yeah, and Nathan Drake and all these other... the Fat Princess game. And...
Yeah, I mean that's the problem though. It's like Sony's. I mean, Microsoft would not. They'd have like Master Chief and Cortana, and that'd be about it.
Yeah, just put them all in the same game. Just put them all in.
But that would be the natural.
Put them in Smash Brothers, but get Master Chief in Smash Brothers.
The legal wranglings behind it. But yeah, I mean the problem with kart racing is that like Mario Kart has basically such a stranglehold on it that there's no.
I mean, Mario Kart is a great game. I'm not taking anything away from Mario Kart.
I mean, everybody loves Mario Kart.
It's a game. Yeah,
you either play it like just before you go out, or like you decide to like, have a few beers or something.
Yeah.
Like, let's play Mario Kart.
It's like playing like Tekken 3 back in the day. You go around your friend's house and you all sit around the TV and you play Mario Kart.
Yeah, I mean, and I think what it is about Mario Kart is it's fun for both kids and adults. Like kids can be like, oh yeah, Mario Kart.
Yeah, there's a really low entry level.
Yeah, and there's no gratuitous violence. I mean,
and if you're last, you get a fucking blue shell, and you win anyway.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, it's like the blue shell. I mean, the blue shell is like, the evil incarnate. But the funny thing is, like, I think there's a weapon in Jack X which works the exact same way, which is like the electric sphere thing. I don't know what it's called, but it's basically like an electric sphere thing, which basically like you shoot it and it goes straight for the guy first. And what's worse, there is a worse version of it where because what happens in Jack X is you can if you do enough damage, take enough damage, your car becomes like leveled up in a way, because you can collect Dark Eco, which basically makes your car slightly more resilient and your weapons like more powerful. And if you pick up that electric sphere thing, it takes out all the cars in front of you.
Of course it is.
And there's that, and also there's the supernova move, which basically again also just destroys all the cars in front of you. But yeah, Blue Shell is like even incarnate.
So. So what do you make of the whole business of the reboots and remasters? Obviously, we got a lot of them sort of the tail end of the PS3 era. I feel like we're not getting the trilogies as much anymore on the PS4, but we are getting the reboots, we are getting the remasters, we are getting the re-releases. What do you make of it?
It's really weird because it's good and lazy at the same time. Because it's good that newer generations can like play like games like that.
I completely agree.
Like their older siblings or their parents or the cousins.
Yeah, they haven't got to dust off the PS2 to play.
I could break out Time Splitters, but my PS2's like, I think up in the attic.
Yeah.
I don't know where the Time Splitters games. I think they're up in the attic.
And you don't want anyone deleting your memory card save.
I don't know where. I think my memory cards are in a drawer somewhere. But yeah, like there's that, and also because my sister's one of those people who like, oh yeah, that looks like an interesting game, but I wouldn't want to play it because it's like the graphics aren't great. Cause
well, the thing is, if you're going to plug your PS2 in, you're not going to play it in HD either, are you?
No. I mean,
and have you ever watched something not in HD after being used to HD?
I did. I was around my friend's house and we were playing America on the Wii, and it looked so weird.
It's fucking awful.
It's not awful. It just took ages for my eyes to readjust.
Yeah, you're just so used to something else.
Like, this doesn't look very crisp. And it's like, and the thing was,
dude, if there's anything you can say about the Wii's display, is that it's not crisp. I hated the fucking.
But yeah,
Wii.
like I mean, there are loads of people who I mean, and it happened. It's like the same with films as well. Like my sister's kind of interested in watching Cowboy Bebop, but at the same time she's like, oh, the animation's not great. Her interest in it is sort of like lowered because like the animation's like I love sort of like 90s animation. It's just like when you see them clearly like reusing the same frame like 5 times in the same like episode.
Yeah, but compared to new anime though, on an
I
tangent,
mean that's
for a second.
So yeah, like remastering something so that it's
you got people who haven't played these games before
and like you know they especially for games like well known as these games were like really fun back in the day. It's like I would play them, but also at the same time it's kind of lazy because
you want to make new stuff. Where's the new games? There's
that, and also like they could just have backwards compatibility, but because
this is the thing, isn't it?
But I've heard that sometimes the backwards compatibility thing is like we can't make money from that though, because it's like we can you can like hypothetically they could have backwards compatibility, but if you've bought like your hypothetically if the PS4 was to have like backwards compatibility with PS3 games.
They wouldn't be able to resell that PS3 game to you.
Yeah, like we were talking about Last of Us. Like people are like, oh yeah, you should buy it on the PS4. I'm like, well, I've already got it on like my PS3.
There are people that bought the PS3 and PS4 versions.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder like why? Because I mean, if you put it side by side comparison, there's not much in it.
See, this is the thing. Like Final Fantasy 13, which is one of my favourite games. People are going to hate me for that. But I bought it on PS3. And if that game came out on PS4, I'll buy it. I will buy it again.
Yeah, I mean, I know you get some people who do collect, like, do it more for like collecting stuff.
Yeah.
Because like you get those people who have, like Blade Runner on VHS, Betamax, Laserdisc, DVD, and Blu-ray.
I think the lack of backwards compatibility is the driving reason behind remakes and remasters, but. Having said that, Xbox is now doing backwards compatibility, but Xbox are also losing, which is another whole thing we can get into.
I did read something that in regards to backwards compatibility, it's not so much that they don't want to do it, / there's a lot of hassle in regards because.
I think Xbox is just a case of you put the disc in and
Xbox are doing it through some sort of like emulation.
It's an emulation thing. It's not it's not reading the disc. It's just knowing that you own that disc and then emulating a download.
But yeah, from a hardware point of view, I think to make it backwards compatible there's some sort of like hassle.
And that's fine, and that's fair enough.
I don't get how they can't emulate it because emulation is just software.
Well, they're not going to do it when people are still buying. You know, you vote with your wallet at the end of the day. But I'd be absolutely shocked. If the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox 2, whatever they're going to call it, I'll be shocked if they aren't backwards compatible. If I can't play a PS4 game on a PS5, I'd be shocked. I think that'll be the real sticking point.
I think what makes it even more annoying is that because loads of people buy games digitally now as well. There's no excuse.
Well, yeah, and exactly like when the new consoles come out, you would expect that your library that you've bought digitally on the PS4 or whatever, that you can just transfer that over to PS5 and you can just play all those games.
Yeah,
because you can't play PS1 classics on your PS4, but you plug your PS3 in, you can get any PS1 game you want.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, I could kind of understand sort of like the emulation in regards to. In fact, no, because if they've got the emulation software to, have PS1 games play on a PS3 and stuff, why can't they have the emulation software where you can play PS3 games on your PS4? And even if like it was, and I was gonna say it's like, oh, if they just have like the digital only ones, like, you know, you bought a game on your PS3 from the store, you should be able to play it on your PS4. Like, you just download it.
Yeah, I think if it's digital, that should be the bare minimum. Like, there's games that I've bought on the PS3 that I'd love to play on PS4.
Ironically, it would kind of also,
but
not necessarily give people an incentive to buy it off the store, but I don't really buy that much stuff off the store unless it's on sale, because I know
because you're not going to get that resale value. You're not going to be able to trade it in. You're not going to be able to, you know, that game's just going to be. And if the servers at Sony go down one day, or at Xbox, any game that you've bought digitally, that's just lost forever.
Yeah.
And that game never exists again. But I mean, what I think with the remakes and the remasters is, I think there's a great market for them. I think people love the nostalgia of going back. Like the Crash Bandicoot trilogy is a great example. Like, everyone, like, that's one of the top 10 games now still, and it's been over a year since coming out. I think the audiences are there for them for certain games. I think, like you said, getting players who have never played these games before an excuse to play them without having to dust off their old consoles. But I think also it's a great way to prepare people for the new game. Like Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out in January. They've released Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and all the fucking DS and 3DS games. They've put them all on disc on PS3 and PS4. So basically, anyone who's not played them can play them, and then they know the whole story for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
I think it whets the appetite, and it's also a good market test. Like this Crash Bandicoot trilogy, if it didn't sell anywhere near as well as it sold, we might get a Crash Bandicoot 4 now. But if no one bought it, then that'd be it. There wouldn't be another Crash Bandicoot game.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same. It's the same with the Spyro games. Like, they're doing the HD remake of the Spyro games, and I guess if that sells well, then
if that sells well, we'll get a new Spyro. If it doesn't, then we won't.
I mean,
but it will. It will sell.
They've been making like Crash Bandicoot games since like past the original trilogy. They kept making Crash Bandicoot games right up till like 2000.
I know, it was a Naughty Dog.
Yeah.
I never played a PS2 Crash Bandicoot game.
I played Wrath of Cortex, and that was fun.
I thought that was the second game. That was just Crash 2, wasn't it? Wrath of Cortex?
No, I think that was Cortex Strikes Back.
There was Twin Sanity as well, or something.
Yeah, and like I think Wrath of Cortex is one where you basically, like, I think the main bad guy in that is like Steroid Crash. It's basically like Crash Bandicoot but on steroids.
Yeah, Tiny. Is it Tiny?
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
And then like that was the only other one I played, and I didn't play any of the others, and then I saw like they changed it where like they gave Crash like tribal tats on his hands and stuff. I'm like, that's just trying to.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But
they did the same thing with Spyro. They were making Spyro games like way up into the mid-late 2000s, and apparently he was being voiced by Elijah Wood, which made it just hilarious. And they changed his look as well to try and make him more like badass looking. He just more looked like a meth dragon.
Well, we'll see how it goes, and hopefully we'll get some more remakes of games that we love and that we can share with other people. But I mean, should we wrap this up?
Yeah.
I think we're near an hour mark, so it's pretty good.
I think we've talked about a nice mix of games. I mean, the ones that I talked about last week and the ones you've talked about this week, I think in regards to the ones that are probably actually likely to happen, I mean,
I think Tekken could happen, and I think Max Payne could happen.
Yeah, I mean, Tekken would work because Tekken would probably be the sort of like easiest one to get done, and Max Payne is probably like, Rockstar makes so much money that they can probably do the Max Payne set as sort of like a write-off in a way. So it's like, well, we'll throw some money at it, and if it doesn't do well, you know, it's not too bad. I mean, I feel they'd only really need to like probably redo 1 and 2, because 1 and 2 were like pretty early 2000s, weren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the Max Payne games would probably you'd like to think get done, likely. Tekken 3 again would be quite easy to do. I mean, Timesplitter's got the IP got.
I think Timesplitter's going to happen.
Yeah, that will happen. They might do Legacy of Kain. Metal Gear Solid, you'd think would get
That
done.
just depends if Konami get their act together.
Yeah, I mean, Metal Gear Solid is just like a money waiting to get made, and they might. I feel they might redo Beautiful Joe because 2D 3D platformers are kind of
They're the in thing at the moment, aren't they?
So there's that. So I think those are the ones that will probably get done, or at least more likely to get done than the others. I mean,
Let's see.
Your Car Race,
Yeah.
probably not, and Ghost Hunter and Killer 7 probably not either.
We'll see how it goes, but
Actually, to be fair, Onimusha maybe.
Onimusha, yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay, but
yeah, I think
until
that's
next
about
time.
it, really. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll reconvene next week.
Yeah.